You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Lohr, and as chair, I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as Empire State Development, for this Thursday, March 27th, 2025. I'd like to remind all staff members who are joining us remotely today to please mute your audio until you are ready to speak, and to please be sure to state your name before you begin. The public was given an opportunity to attend today's meeting, as always, to provide comments on the agenda items. And we do have several members of the public here today, and they will have the opportunity to comment on some agenda items. We also gave the public an opportunity to comment on agenda items by submitting written comments to us by noon yesterday. And we received a bunch of comments, and they have been circulated to all the board members as well. Let's see. As always, the directors received all the written materials in advance of today's meetings, and of course are free to ask questions to staff at any time during the presentation. At this time, I will ask whether any directors have any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on today's agenda. Benson?
Yeah, DFS will recuse itself from 4 items: the Oakdale Commons, the Mindset Care, the renewal of corporate insurance policies, and the renewal of the Highline Moynihan Connector insurance policies.
Great. And when we get to those items, let's remind me again. Thank you for that. No other conflicts noted for the record. Before we get to the agenda, I'd like to first go around the room and first with the board members and recognize that we have a quorum. So starting with Mike.
Michael Rosen, member of the board.
John Wall, board member.
Francine Del Monte, board member.
Benson Martin, designee for DFS.
Hilda Rosario, Escher, board member.
Hope Knight, President, CEO.
Great. So we certainly have a quorum, and we're ready to conduct business. And before that, let's just identify staff who's at the table, starting with Kevin.
Morning, Kevin Eunice, COO, ESD.
Noah Raymond, Chief of Staff.
Arden Sokolow, EVP of Real Estate. Elise Hoskin, EVP Small Business and Technology Development.
Simone Bethune, Senior Project Manager, Loans and Grants.
Good morning, Christopher Wassif, Senior Project Manager, Real Estate.
Iram Kathri, Environmental Review, EVP Environmental Review and Planning.
Angel Santana, VP for Community Relations.
Joshua Breitbart, Senior Vice President, Connect All.
Rebecca Pellegrini, Executive Director of Moynihan Train Hall and VP Real Estate Asset Management.
Tony Delesio, Deputy CFO.
Ray Orlando, Chief Financial Officer.
Lisa Hochgeiser, Director of Compliance. Goldie Wexel, Deputy General Counsel.
Joshua Bloodworth, General Counsel.
All right. Good. Somebody say, we don't have any board members participating remotely, do we?
No.
All right. Okay, thank you, staff, for being here. We're going to do one corporate action item first, and that is the approval of the minutes of February 20th, 2025, which minutes have been circulated. I will move them. Hilda seconds them. Are there any comments, revisions, or additions to the minutes of last month's meeting? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Because we have a bunch of folks from the community, the public, who want to speak with us today and share some comments with us, we're going to take things out of order, and we're going to deal with the Lincoln Correctional Facility redevelopment project first. We're going to first have Christopher Wassif make the presentation, and then we'll ask any board members if they have comments or questions, and then we'll allow the public to be heard on it, and then we'll continue with the rest of our agenda. So, Christopher, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Law, Commissioner Knight, and Directors. Today we are requesting the Directors to affirm the General Project Plan, or GPP, and authorize the various steps needed to repurpose the former Lincoln Correctional Facility at 3133 West 110th Street in Harlem into a sustainable mixed-use income-restricted homeownership development. In March 2023, ESD issued a competitive request for proposals to solicit redevelopment plans for the site. In December 2023, ESD conditionally designated a development team comprising a 65% minority and women-owned business enterprise, or MWBE team, led by Infinite Horizons, L&M Development Partners, Urbane Development Group, and Lemoore Development, to undertake the proposed project. The proposed project features a dynamic plan for a 22-story, 160,000 square foot building that includes up to 110 income-restricted homeownership units and 3 ground-floor community facility spaces. The project envisions that approximately 80% of the units will be affordable to households earning up to 100% AMI, and the remaining 20% affordable at 80% of AMI. ESD began engagement with local elected officials in December 2023, and in 2024, the project team held at least 2 briefings with each of the elected officials that represent the area in which the project site is located. ESD continued its outreach to local stakeholders, including Manhattan Community Board 10. Pending approval, the developer will begin demolition of the existing facility within 6 months of title transfer and commence construction within 12 months. The project would be expected to be completed by 2028, delivering sustainable income-restricted homeownership opportunities and community resources to Harlem. For some background, the GPP was initially adopted by the Board of Directors on December 19th, 2024. On December 20th, 2024, ESD filed, circulated, and posted the GPP on ESD's project website for public review and comment. ESD then held a virtual public hearing on the GPP on January 23rd, 2025, and accepted written comments on the GPP until February 23rd, 2025. ESD received 244 verbal and written comments during the public hearing and subsequent public comment period. We received approximately 200 letters from the community, which are included in your board packages for review. A summary of the comments received before the close of the public comment period and ESD's detailed responses to those comments is also attached to the Director's materials as Exhibit 4. The commenters opined on the following key areas in order of frequency: affordability, community displacement, community preference, source of public funds, environmental review, and supporting formerly incarcerated individuals. I'll now provide an overview of our responses to these concerns. On affordability, most commenters expressed concerns that the homeownership units were not affordable enough, particularly to potential purchasers in the surrounding Harlem community, and requested deeper affordability below 80% of AMI and as low as 40% AMI. The project will target buyers earning 80 to 100% AMI, which is a group that often lacks access to homeownership opportunities in Harlem. Based on current 2024 AMIs, units at the proposed project will be affordable for households earning about $87,000, which is 80% of AMI for a one-person household, to about $155,000, which is 100% of AMI for a four-person household. The average salary of a New York City health and hospitals nurse is $93,000, which makes them an ideal applicant for a one-bedroom unit at 80% of AMI. A New York City public school teacher earning the average salary of $69,000 and an MTA bus worker earning their average salary of $47,000, along with their children, would qualify for a two-bedroom unit. A New York City firefighter earning the average salary of $76,000 and a New York City home health aide earning $48,000 and their children would qualify for both an 80% AMI three-bedroom unit or a 100% AMI two-bedroom unit. Additionally, the median sales price for condo units in Manhattan Community Board 10 is about $1 million, and the average sales price at the proposed project, based on 2024 AMI, is about $400,000. So this would represent an approximately 60% discount to the median condo sales price in the area. On community displacement, a few commenters expressed concerns that existing Harlem residents will be displaced or priced out of the community through this project. No residents will be directly displaced by the project, as the site consists exclusively of a vacant former correctional facility, and the immediate surrounding blocks include or abut Central Park, a public school complex, New York City Housing Authority housing, and multiple rent-regulated buildings, thus making it unlikely that indirect displacement of nearby residents would occur. On community preference, several commenters raised concerns that the project would not be accessible to existing Harlem residents and called for a local preference in unit allocation. I'd like to highlight that under New York City's community preference policy, 20% of the units will be reserved for community residents if the project is completed by 2029. Beyond this, the preference will be 15%. This policy will ensure that Harlem residents have priority for purchasing these homes. Furthermore, the developer will work with the Harlem Congregation for Community Improvement and other partners to conduct early outreach to Harlem residents. This outreach will ensure that as many Harlem residents as possible are aware of and apply for these units and help increase the proportion of local residents that purchase these units. In terms of the source of public funds, a few commenters asked for clarification on the public funding sources proposed for the project. And as stated in the GPP, the project financing includes private and public funding, and at a minimum, public sources are anticipated from HCR and HPD. More specifically, such funding would be provided through HCR's Affordable Home Ownership Opportunity Program and HPD's Open Door program, also known as Homeownership New Construction Program. The total public subsidy required to achieve the current level of affordability is approximately $521,000 per unit, or $54.7 million. The project represents a $90 million investment in Harlem overall. On environmental review, one of the commenters expressed concerns that the project would not be required to follow SECRA environmental review. As stated in the GPP, ESD, as the SECRA lead agency for the project, has prepared an environmental assessment that evaluates whether the project may have any significant adverse impact on the environment. ESD's review under SECRA has concluded that the project, implemented in accordance with the GPP, will result in no significant impacts to the environment. Furthermore, a restrictive declaration will ensure that the project is constructed in accordance with the GPP, design guidelines, any environmental controls stated in the SECRA review, and other applicable project requirements. Finally, a few commenters expressed an interest in opportunities for formerly incarcerated individuals to benefit from the project. The hiring goals for the project will include a target local placement goal of 33% of all new jobs created by the project, with a 50% preference for local applicants re-entering the community from incarceration. After considering all public comments, ESD staff continues to recommend that the directors approve the proposed project. This project would transform an unused, obsolete, and substandard asset into a vibrant mixed-use development with more than 100 affordable new homes and community facility space serving the project's residents and the surrounding community. Furthermore, the project will contribute to Harlem's economic growth through an investment of over $90 million into the community and through local hiring, MWBE contracting, and construction jobs. By repurposing this former correctional facility, the project will enhance neighborhood vitality and support New York State's goals for affordable housing and community development. For these reasons and those set forth in the director's materials, it is requested that the directors affirm the general project plan, affirm statutory findings under Section 10 of the New York State Urban Development Corporation Act, authorize ESD to dispose of the project site to implement the project, and authorize all related actions. I'm happy to answer questions. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Chris. And again, to the board, this is the second time. We got thoroughly briefed on this last December as well when we discussed this previously. Chris, I have two questions for you. One, can you repeat what is the median price of a home in the community, and what will be the average price of the homes for this project?
So the median in Harlem right now is about $1 million, whereas these units would be about $400,000 on average.
Wow, that's good. And will these be condos or co-ops?
It would be an HDFC co-op as currently envisioned.
Got it. And then three, refresh my recollection. I think you addressed in your comments. We're going to work with the developer and the community on making sure folks in the community apply and try to get access to these homes, will there be any type of lottery for these units?
Yeah, so we're anticipating this would be offered through the New York City Housing Connect lottery, but through the community preference policy, 20% of the units will be reserved for local residents, and we see that as sort of hopefully the minimum that will be served because we'll have a robust outreach program with HCCI and other partners to make sure people know these units are available, how to apply for them, and how to be ready to get access to these units.
Great, thank you. As I said, we've gotten some written comments that have been circulated to the board members. And before we hear from the public, do any other board members have any other questions for Chris? All right, hearing none, I'm going to begin again, we're going to take this out of order, out of respect to the people who showed up here so they don't have to sit through our entire agenda. And we're going to have Angel Santana call out the names of the speakers. I'm going to remind the speakers, just like every public agency, we need you to limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, and we have a number of you here. And so I'm going to enforce that rule. And Angel, I'm going to ask you to identify the speakers in the order that they've applied to speak.
The first speaker to provide a comment would be June Moses. Right over here.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, good morning. Good morning, ESDC. My name is June, like the month, Moses, like the Bible, and I am a longtime Harlem resident and housing advocate. Today, I am here to express my concerns regarding the proposed development of the former Lincoln Correctional Facility known as the Seneca. While I appreciate the efforts to bring affordable housing to Harlem, I am deeply concerned that the current income eligibility requirements ranging from 80% to 100% of the area median income, AMI, are not aligned with the financial realities faced by many Harlemites. In Central Harlem, the median household income is significantly lower than the city's AMI, making this inaccessible for many longtime residents and families in our communities. We must consider realistic pathways to achieve deeper affordability, targeting 40 and 50% AMI. This can be accomplished, but I don't see the confirmation of the use of AHC grants or Home Investment Partnership Program funding, or even the indication that new market tax credits will be utilized. There really isn't enough information on the specific financing strategies to ensure that realistic affordability can be achieved. Moreover, I must highlight my concerns regarding the development partners in this project. L&M Development Partners, one of the primary developers, has faced legal scrutiny, including grand jury indictments related to corruption in New Rochelle, as well as complaints from residents about poor living conditions in properties they manage. These issues raise serious questions about their commitment to the ethical practices and community well-being. Additionally, Leemore Development Group has faced criticism for affordability issues on past projects, leaving residents like myself worried that the Seneca may not truly serve those it claims to benefit. Furthermore, I would like to address the response from the Empire State Development Corporation regarding community concerns raised during the public comment period. While ESDC acknowledged the affordability concerns, their response largely emphasized the economic benefits of the project without adequately addressing how the community's affordability concerns will be resolved. This lack of concrete solutions leaves residents worried that their voices will not be taken seriously, especially when it comes to deeper affordability that aligns with the community. Therefore, I urge this committee to reconsider the affordability structure and financing strategy, as well as some of the partners of the Seneca project, to ensure that the existing Harlem community can stay and won't be displaced. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The next commenter will be William Allen. Is William Allen here? I'll go to the next person, Gilda Gillum.
A lot of us weren't allowed in the room, so you have to go check and see if they're in other rooms.
Is Andrew Alfonso here?
Yes.
Hi, I'm here today representing Assemblymember Eddie Gibbs' office, whose district overlaps with this development. So Assemblymember Gibbs' core focus is ensuring that this project prioritizes real affordability, directly benefiting existing community members. We're asking and demanding that the development serves the needs of longtime residents and working families throughout the area, not people that meet specific criteria, but just overall serve the greater community and people that have been in this community for a long time. The member always says, do kids in Harlem not have a right to overlook the park? I mean, this is a beautiful area. They have a right to fresh air, to green nature. They have a right to these things. And we want to make sure that this development actually prioritizes them, their families, those kids, not just specific people that might meet specific criteria. Affordable housing is crucial to maintaining the community's diversity and character. Harlem's obviously known for its vibrant history and its vibrant community, and we really want to prioritize that community. So we demand that a significant portion of these units are designated as actually affordable and available to long-term residents. The Assembly member envisions an inclusive and equitable community where everyone can thrive equally, not just people from outside the community. So we urge collaborative efforts with the Empire State Development to achieve a positive outcome that reflects the community's needs, and we hope you guys reconsider the affordability criteria you guys currently have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gilda Gillum here to provide comment.
Good morning. My name is Gilda Gillum, and I am a Central Harlem resident, born and raised. I have witnessed firsthand the transformations that have reshaped my neighborhood. The gentrification of Harlem has already displaced many long-standing residents, and the proposed Seneca redevelopment project on the site of the former Lincoln Correctional Facility threatens to accelerate this trend. While marketed as an affordable housing initiative, the reality is that the pricing structure excludes the very people who have built and sustained this community for generations. The developers claim that the Seneca will provide home ownership opportunities for Harlem residents, but the affordability levels do not reflect the economic realities of this community. The project targets households earning between 80% to 100% of the area median income, meaning an individual must earn between $86,960 and $108,700 annually to qualify. However, according to the 2023 U.S. Census data, the median annual income for a Black household in zip code 10026 is only $53,666. The estimated monthly cost for these units range from $3,000 to $3,700, far beyond the reach of most long-term Harlem residents. Like many of my neighbors, I have only been able to maintain my residence due to rent stabilization. For families who have lived here for generations, sending children to college, only to have them return home and find themselves priced out is devastating. We are witnessing an engineered displacement, where developments like the Seneca cater to wealthier outsiders rather than the community that has historically defined Harlem. Beyond affordability, I'm deeply concerned about the environmental risk associated with the demolition of the Lincoln Correctional Facility. Built in the early 1900s, the structure contains hazardous materials, including lead-based paint and asbestos. The removal of these substances must be handled with extreme caution. Additionally, the proposed 22-story development will have a detrimental impact on Central Park by infringing on air rights and casting shadows over this vital public space. Central Park is one of the few green spaces accessible in Harlem. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker will be William Smith. On to the next commenter is Calder Swicky.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Calder Zwicky. I'm the executive director of Artistic Noise. Artistic Noise is a 24-year-old nonprofit arts organization who, for the last 10 years, has worked out of a storefront studio space on Adam Clayton Powell and 129th Street. We work with system-involved and system-impacted young people, ages 14 to 22. By system involved, we're generally talking about the juvenile court system, but also the shelter system, foster care system, mental health care systems, probationary systems, and other systems which are ostensibly set up to help young people, but which oftentimes, in our experience, do much more harm than good. When young people come to our space on our Tuesday and Thursday night art making programs, they're paid $17.50 an hour for every hour they work with our artists and our art therapy team to make art in our space. We create a supportive, therapeutically aligned, trauma-informed environment so that the young people can overcome the issues that they've been dealing with in these court systems and are able to make art which is then sold and displayed to the public. And when we sell their work at one of our annual youth art shows, the young people keep 100% of the proceeds from the sales of their art. So there's an economic equity component to what we do, as well as a therapeutic component. We are currently being vastly outstripped by the needs of the young people we serve. Specifically, our small studio space is no longer able to contain all of the programs that we're offering young people. We do a Thursday morning alternative to incarceration program at Midtown Community Justice Center. We also do a drop-in program at the School of Visual Arts, also for system-involved young people. And we have an artist in residence program for alumni of our programs who are in the process of developing their art careers. Us having access to the storefront gallery space of the new development would drastically increase our ability to serve the young people that we work with. We would create a youth art gallery specifically to showcase the vibrancy of the artistic noise community, and we would also be able to offer more employment opportunities to the young people that we're currently serving by having a therapeutic and an art making space in the back, as well as a full-time youth art gallery in the front. This would be a really big deal for our organization and would, again, almost double the amount of programs we're able to offer to the young people that we serve. Thank you very much for letting me speak on it, and we're very excited about the possibility of moving our programming to 110th Street. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next commenter would be Randall Powell.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all the members of the public, agencies, and elected officials in attendance for today's public hearing on the Lincoln Correctional Facility. My name is Randall Powell, CEO of Infinite Horizons and one of the managing members of the development team for this project. I would like to thank everybody for coming out to learn more about the redevelopment of the former Lincoln Correctional Facility and to provide new affordable housing. I would like to briefly introduce the rest of the development team, which includes Lemoore Development, Urbane, and L&M Development Partners. Infinite Horizons, Lemoore, and Urbane are all minority MWBE combined developers, which represents 65% of this development team. Our team is committed to delivering a vibrant, mixed-use, affordable homeownership project that elevates the quality of life of Harlem residents. Central Harlem is a neighborhood steeped in cultural vibrancy and historical significance and has long been a beacon of resiliency. Yet, like many other communities across the city, it has faced mounting challenges in the realm of affordable housing. The redevelopment of the Lincoln Correctional Facility into a 100% affordable homeownership project offers a unique opportunity to confront this challenge in fostering both long-term community stability and economic equity. By targeting buyers to 80 to 100% of area median income, the redevelopment of Lincoln Correctional Facility will contribute to the creation of a diverse, sustainable community while ensuring that future home ownership opportunities remain within reach of Harlem residents. Our goal is to establish a new identity for this historically impactful site that provides unprecedented home ownership opportunities for the community. Infinite Horizons is actually based in Harlem. We actually have an office on 145th Street, and since we've been there, we've actually hired interns and people from the communities to support our office as a property management company. We're emerging, and we've actually gone back to the community to help assist us in building our business. Additionally, our director of marketing, Mike Reed, has also been in the community working on affordable marketing and has sold over 1,000 affordable home ownership units. Lemoore Development, also in the community, has a long history of providing long-term affordable housing projects throughout Central Harlem. And the president of Lemoore Realty, Kenny Morrison, also serves on a lot of local boards in the Harlem community. Urbane also has several projects in the Harlem community, the La Marquette, which is also financed part of EDC, and one of the members also serves as a member of Harlem, Naeem Brown. Our collective experience gives us the ability to go in there and really turn this project around to make it something really viable and support the community. ESD's request for proposals specifically called for the development of affordable home ownership units for sale. The development team took this mission, and we have executed on a development site that we believe will actually provide the necessary uses for the community at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next commenter is Stefan Herring.
Morning, my name is Stefan Herring. To the board, ESD, thank you for having me, and to my fellow constituents of Harlem, it's a pleasure to see you here today. I stand before you today as a community resident of 50 years. Currently, I represent the Mobilari Group. We are a community renewal program that looks forward to bringing more culture and diversity to our community in a stable environment. Recently, we have the guidance of working with Urbane Development in terms of bringing more of their entrepreneurship and programming that they have in Brooklyn to the Harlem community, and also now in the housing aspect. What we currently are working toward is how we can make the Seneca project more affordable to our local residents, and therefore what we ask for and what we see and what I've noticed with Urbane is that their actions have been genuine in all their efforts to bring to the Harlem community and beyond. Right now, what we are actually doing, we're building a program that we can bring forth to the Harlem community around entrepreneurship and what that looks like in terms of people ranging from ages 18 to 54. Right now, what we would like to ask of the ESD is to please consider how affordability may look in the terms of this Harlem residential community. Right now, also what we're looking to do is bring forth marketing and educational programs that can actually introduce what ownership can look like in this day and age. There are plenty of us right now that reside in Harlem, long-term Harlemites that have built up assets and things of that nature that would like to invest in a community that we love and have adored for so long, that instead of looking for our retirement and so forth and our funding to now move toward Jersey or the outskirts of the city, we would like to retain ownership right here in the city. And we believe that Seneca can bring forth some of that ownership right here in our beloved community. Right now, what we are looking to do in the main phase of this is put together, again, that educational as far as teaching people what it looks like in order for them to attain and look into their own assets for those long-term people that have been working for 20 plus years in the city as civil servants and things of that nature, as has already been stated, nurses, teachers, and civil servants that can now partner with HCCI and other organizations to attain capital and also meet the requirements of 3.5% down payment toward their home ownership opportunity. So today, what I would like to just leave you with, and in prayer that Urbane has been great in bringing forth programming and its pursuit for community renewal, and I pray that this board will see how affordability can look for our community and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next three speakers will be Malcolm Punter, Stephen Villanueva, and Alicia Seco.
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, directors. My name is Dr. Malcolm Punter, and I serve as the president and chief executive officer of Harlem Congregations for Community Improvement. Harlem Congregations for Community Improvement is also known as HCCI. We are a 4-decade-old organization, non-profit, that was created by over 100 houses of worship, churches, mosques. The old Broadway Synagogue was one of our founding members, and many, many other civic organizations. Our charter was to create low to moderate and middle income housing. And over 4 decades, we've done so by working with the local, state, and federal governments through affordable housing tax credits and other mechanisms to produce over 5,000 units of affordable housing, primarily in the central Harlem community. 85% of our housing has been low and very low income rental housing. About 12% has been home ownership housing. and the remaining 8% has been economic development projects, and I'll describe some of them. The economic development projects that ACCI has been involved with has been the hotel project on 125th Street. We were the advocates for the affordable housing component that was built on 126th Street, 190 units of mixed income housing. The PS 90 public school, which in my lifetime was vacant for over 30 years. We were able to work with local developers to create a relatively affordable condominium home ownership projects. There was a market rate component and an affordable housing component. At that time, in 2008, the Harlem residents on the affordable housing component side was able to buy into that condominium for about $400,000, $400,000 to $500,000. Today, those Harlem residents now have equity over $1 million with their homes that they've invested in and worked hard. We would like to see, and I'm in favor of this particular project, we would like to see Harlem residents, people who cannot be placed in affordable housing. I have to turn away hundreds of people who are civil servants, middle income earners, because I cannot put them in a low income housing tax credit apartment. They are forced to move to Pennsylvania and Atlanta, Georgia. So much so now we're building in Atlanta, Georgia. I like to see this project approved, and I am committing my own skill and knowledge to help residents who will be first-time home buyers access the affordable home grants that now on the city level allows you to get a grant of up to 20% of the purchase price. So that means that if it's a unit that costs to purchase $500,000, you're eligible for $100,000. We also will use AAC grants to support this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next commenter will be Stephen Villanueva.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board, fellow community advocates, guests. My name is Stephen Villanueva. I'm here representing Positive Workforce. Positive Workforce is a grassroots nonprofit organization based out of 125th Street in New York City in Harlem, founded in 1987. Positive Workforce's mission is to ensure that there's advocacy for minorities in the construction industry and to lead to eventual job placement through gainful employment in both entry-level and journeyman positions within construction. I myself am a Positive Workforce success story, and I'm here to affirm our support for the Seneca project, formerly known as the Lincoln Correctional Facility. With regards to the collaboration on the project with the development partners, it is our intent to see a local hiring plan executed on the project. The development team and Positive Workforce have a proven track record of getting community placement and local hires. On many of the projects, including Sendero Verde, we have seen that we have either met or exceeded local hiring placements. This particular project has an aggressive placement of a goal of 33%, 50% of which are formerly incarcerated. So once again, we're here to lend our support for the project and look forward to helping more members of the community attain opportunities within the construction industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Dr. Alicia Seku. The next speaker is Maurice Russell Gray.
Good evening, everybody. How are you today? Can I take this out? It's a little low for me. My name is Maurice Russell Gray, or everybody knows me as Russell Gray. I'm president of the Greater Harlem Real Estate Board, have been for 10 years. Greater Harlem Real Estate Board is the oldest Black real estate trade organization in the country. And I'm also an owner at Ezra Realty, which is a third generation celebrating our 100th year as a Black-owned business. So we've been in the community forever, and we're here to affirm this project. What we need to see is a diversity in income in the community. So we have what Harlem is becoming is a city of, or a community of, very low and very high income. And we need to have mid-income where we can have people who are bus drivers, who are teachers, who are a variety of different professions that can afford. So we have an average, as a broker, I see people come in and they're asking for 2-bedroom condos. If you want a 2-bedroom market rate condo, you're at least $1 million. Now, if you, as we see some of the AMI, if you, to qualify for some of these lower income, you have to be under $50,000, $60,000. What happens to all those people in the middle? What happens to them? I'll tell you. They move to New Jersey. They move to Westchester. They move to outside of the community. So that's how we end up with a community of very poor and very rich. But in order to sustain schools, in order to sustain businesses, we need people that are going to be in the middle as well. And a project like this, I saw Lamar's development for the Robeson. It actually opened right around the corner from where I live. It's been a great community project. They were very respectful of the community when they were building. It's been a boon to them. So we need increased properties. We need increased housing for middle income people. I know that's always a question as to what middle income is, but this is a good level that we just don't see enough housing stock for. So yes, we need lower income. Yes, we need some more higher income. We need more housing in general, but we need stuff that's affordable, that when people go to college, they can come back and actually live in the community where they're from and not have to be, as I said, either very poor or very rich. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next commenter is Lucas Pasquina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lucas. I work for Senator Cordell Clear. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Speaking to the mic for the people who are participating live.
I'm here representing Senator Cordell Clear. She could not make it because legislative session is happening in Albany. So I'm just going to read 2 letters that we had sent to the ESDC regarding this project. We've done a lot of advocacy on this project. We met with the commissioner last Friday regarding the affordability levels. You see I have my deeper affordability at Lincoln sign. The senator is not opposed to this project. She is asking that it be postponed until a later meeting and voted no upon the current affordability levels because it is not affordable enough to the community. I understand that there are concerns that this is a middle-income housing development. However, if you look at the median income for a black family in Harlem, it is $53,000 in zip code 126, which is the zip code that Lincoln Correctional Facility is located in. Therefore, to afford an $100,000, an apartment set at $100,000, which many of the apartments are that and above, you would need to be making over double the median income of the area. Therefore, to call that middle-income housing is a misnomer and incorrect based on the actual Harlem community that this development is being built inside of. So I'm going to read the letter that we sent on March 24th to commit in response to the meeting we had with her last Friday. Okay. Thank you for the helpful discussion on Friday, March 21st concerning the Lincoln Correctional Facility redevelopment project. As expressed to you directly on that date and once again via this transmission, I respectfully request that you postpone the vote on the matter currently scheduled for 3/27 for the following reasons. We have asked you to bring back for us different affordability scenarios, including 40% AMI and 60% AMI, which is much more realistic to the Harlem community. Assemblymember Eddie Gibbs and I are actively funding or seeking funding in the fall, in the financial year 2025-2026 budget process, which is still underway, that would allow for greater affordability for units at 40% AMI and 60% AMI. The senator is up in Albany right now advocating for more money to come to this project. We understand that people are saying that it's expensive. The senator is doing everything she can to bring more money to this project. It's not that she doesn't want it to happen. She knows that there's more avenues in the state and in the governor's budget that's going to be passed to put more affordability to this project. That is why we are saying we need this project to be postponed so that we have the time to look into more affordability so that it can actually help Harlem. This is the last state-owned property that can be developed into housing within Harlem. And so it is very crucial that this development set the stage for future developments in Harlem for what real affordability for Harlem residents can look like. Therefore, we need more time to look into where those subsidies can come from. We have a list. We're doing the advocacy. That is why we need more time on this project. One second.
You're out of time, but I'll give you 15 more seconds.
We have over 200 letters from the community that were sent in. I had sent them in as agenda comments, but I see that they were not printed out for you. But I welcome you to look through the packet that you were provided with the letters. We had everyone we spoke to in Harlem has said that this is not affordable for them. They look at the rent rates that are $3,500 a month and they say, I could never afford that for a 2-bedroom. So I don't know who you're speaking to and saying this is affordable. And I know that Chris had mentioned people that they cherry-picked different people that could afford these apartments, but if you speak to Harlem residents, they cannot afford $3,500 a month. And therefore, this project would never be affordable to the Harlem community based on the current way that it is being done. So I don't understand who you have been speaking to and who you have been talking to saying this is affordable housing, but you cannot call this affordable housing and have rents at $3,500 a month. So we ask that you vote no on this project, or at least postpone the vote until the May Board of Directors meeting so that we have more time to get the money that can be done to make this truly affordable. Because it can be done, and we will do it. We'll fight every day to get more money for this. We just need it to be postponed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The next 2 speakers will be Hannah Poole and Kim Smith.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I grew up in Brooklyn and have recently moved to the Harlem area, and I want to affirm the calls from the senator's office for either the postponement or a vote no on it on the basis of the lack of real affordability of this housing project. I grew up in Brooklyn, and my family has recently been priced out of the neighborhood that I grew up in. My parents actually just won a lottery for a sort of similar like middle income housing project. And the only reason that they're able to afford it is because it actually is affordable for them. There is a big gap between what they make in a year and what they'd be paying for their housing in a year. And as you can see, the difference between the median income of a Harlem resident and the price per year of a 2-bedroom apartment in the facility that's being proposed is only $11,000. That just simply can't be considered affordable for any family who is, hoping to move into this development. So just wanted to echo the calls that Lucas was making from the senator's office and ask for either the postponement of this vote or a vote no until it can be actually affordable for Harlem's residents.
Thank you.
The next commenter is Kim Smith.
Good morning, everyone. As everyone speaks about affordability, I'm here to speak about how are we going to ensure everything that is promised will be done. I live in Central Harlem. 2 large buildings on 124th Street were built, and it was an environmental atrocity. We had to literally go to, at the time, the Manhattan Borough President had to get involved. We had to bring media out. The building that was demolished was almost 40 years old. There were concerns about asbestos and all of these things. They just knocked down the buildings. We kept, meeting with elected officials saying, like, how are you doing this? They tried not to even do pre, during, and post-extermination. Like, we literally had to fight and advocate for our building because where the demolition and everything was being done, literally in front of 2 buildings that were completely occupied. So we come to these meetings and we hear about, we're going to make sure that we're environmentally safe. Of course, we reached out to We Act in Harlem. Promises are made, but then when it's time for the implementation of what needs to be done, I don't want to say it's okay if we can't move it to the building, but can we at least make sure that we're not being flooded with dust, flooded with debris, making sure that at minimum that there is pre-extermination. And thankfully, after a lot of advocacy from the building and finally meeting with the developer and we got on the same page, once that happened, it was smooth sailing. But before then, we were concerned about being overrun by rats and all of these things. And again, folk will come to the meeting, different developers, different organizations, and as far as employment opportunities. We literally had to almost twist the developer's arm to literally accept resumes so that they'll be able to hire some of the people from the two buildings that was noise and drilling and all. And we had to really, it was a mess. So how do we ensure that it's more community friendly? Like at the end of the day, I'm crystal clear about returns on investment. And when you guys come in, different developers, we understand that. But what about the return on the investment and the respectfulness that should be employed when you're doing these types of developments for the people that already live within the community? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Next.
There are no additional commenters.
Is that it? No? Everybody had a chance? Well, for everybody who spoke, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your sincerity. I want to thank you for the respect you showed the board and the staff here. And I want to thank you for, some of the very, important points that you raised. I have some comments and I have a question. So I have been involved in affordable housing for the last 35 years in various ways. I have provided pro bono general legal services to a housing partnership. I have worked with a major not-for-profit, and we built a homeless shelter for women and children who were victims of domestic violence. Thanks. I'm going to exercise the prerogative of the chair and give myself 2 more minutes. I have worked on some other affordable projects. I worked with Habitat for Humanity and helped incorporate them, again, pro bono. And I worked with my dear friend, Dr. Calvin Butts, who unfortunately passed away last year, on trying to increase the amount of affordable housing in the region. And we need all types of housing at all different price points. We need housing for the homeless. We need very low income housing. We need low income housing. We need workforce housing. We need the missing middle housing. And we need housing, again, at all different price points. And what I've learned over the last 3 decades is not every project can solve every affordable housing need or issue. It doesn't take away from any of the good points that were raised, again, but not every project can solve or meet every housing demand that we have. And so, again, your points are valid and your points were well taken. But I want to ask either Hope or Arden, if we approve this project today, does anything prevent either the state, the gentleman who spoke on behalf of the state senator, or the city of New York for coming up with more money over the next few months that could even reduce the AMI further?
Nothing.
No?
No.
Okay, very good. So that was my question. Do any board members have any other questions?
No questions. I'd just like to thank the members of the community, though, who spoke very eloquently and persuasively. So appreciate that, because that's how this organization runs. Without members of the community speaking their voice in such an articulate way, I think the efficiency of the Empire State Development is lessened and reduced. So thank you.
Right. Thank you, Michael.
Kevin, I appreciate your comments. It sums up in my mind a lot of what I think might be questions that went in our minds. But I appreciate the community's input. but not every project solves every issue.
Right.
So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you,
to all
Francine.
who participated.
Thank you. So, based on all the information that staff has provided to us, both last fall and today, based on the comments, both in favor of the project and asking us to delay the project, based on other written materials that we've received, I am satisfied with the recommendations from staff that it's time to move this project forward, and encouraging staff to work with the city and the state to see if they could get more money to further reduce the AMI that would make these units more eligible for more members of the community. And so I'm going to make that in the form of a motion. Michael, you second it. To the rest of the board, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? A no. The motion carries. Again, thank you, and I thank the community for coming in.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to disrupt your meeting. We've done everything we possibly can to share
you're-
our opinion, and you steamrolled every single option.
No, that's not true. Sir, you're out of order. Sir, you're out of order.
Sir, I'm sorry. I know you mean middle-income housing, but this is not middle-income housing for Harlem, okay? So I understand that you guys want to put this forward, but if you put it forward, yes, we can get more money, but we can also, you guys can keep going if we don't get more money. So that is the issue. This is not housing for Harlem. And again, I don't mean to just...
Nothing prevents you guys from getting more money to reduce the AMI. That's the
I
point we
understand
just
that, but
made.
if it goes through, it will go through if we don't get that more money. And if we don't get that more money, then this is not a project that is feasible for Harlem.
Well,
And I don't know what else it takes to get you to listen to the community. We've sent in 244 letters, and you have steamrolled them. You did nothing to change the affordability levels that we have said is not affordable for the community. You can't say you value the community perspective if you're not going to listen to us.
Thank you. Going to continue with the agenda. And the next item on the agenda is Hope Knight and her president's report.
Thank you, Kevin, and good morning, directors. We're in the final stretch of the annual state budget process, and the ESD team has been hard at work. Last month, I testified at a joint legislative budget hearing about ESD's programs and projects and the importance of Governor Hochul's economic development agenda. A pillar of our efforts is supporting minority and women-owned businesses in New York State. So in March, in recognition of Women's History Month, ESD launched the Women Entrepreneurs Rising Certification Initiative. Currently running through April 18th, this initiative leverages our statewide network of business advisory centers to provide free, comprehensive support to help qualified MWBEs complete their applications for state certification. This builds on our work to streamline the state certification process, which already delivers decisions in as little as 90 days. Last month, we joined the Port Authority to launch a new $50 million Airport Concessions Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Fund. This is the project we approved last month. As a part of the Federal Department of Transportation program, a portion of airport concession contracts must be awarded to disadvantaged businesses. This fund provides support to certified ACDBE businesses that are pursuing concession opportunities at JFK and LaGuardia, the Port Authority's New York City airports. 2 initial loans have already been approved for small businesses looking to establish concessions at JFK. March was also Oscars month, and congratulations to the team behind Anora. This film took home 5 Oscars, including Best Picture. Anora was a part of the New York State Film Tax Credit Program. Additionally, the Oscar-winning movie A Real Pain was a part of our post-production program. It is estimated that these 2 productions, and these are very small production by industry standards, directly spent more than $5.3 million throughout New York State and created over 300 hires. This is just a glimpse of what we're doing at ESD. It's a busy time of the year, and we look forward to continuing to administer our programs and projects to benefit the residents of New York State.
closing the door.
Oh.
Being told not to close the door.
Are we still good? Okay, good. You just scared all of us.
Yes.
Thank you, Hope. Hope, I know the state budget is supposed to be adopted by Monday. I hear it may drag off another week or two. Anything going on that should be of concern to ESD? I know there's a lot of moving parts up there, but.
A lot of moving parts, but I think ESD is in good shape.
Great. Anybody else have any questions for Hope? All right, we're going to continue with the agenda. Thank you, Hope. Anthony DeLessio, our Deputy Chief Financial Officer and Controller, he's going to present the annual operating budget for ESD.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, and thank you, Commissioner, Directors, and ESD senior staff. In compliance with ESD's fiduciary responsibility and public authority law, a request is being made to the Directors to approve ESD's fiscal year end 25-26 fiscal year operating budget. I'll refer to it as the budget or the operating budget for the purposes of this meeting. The approximately $166.9 million budget includes operating costs associated with the administration and oversight of existing economic development programs. For example, the Governor's Office of Semiconductor Expansion, Management and Integration, referred to as GoSemi, Connect All, the State Small Business Credit Initiative, SSBCI, and various statewide real estate projects, as well as additional programs or initiatives that are depicted in Governor Hochul's proposed 25-26 executive budget. These many initiatives require additional support, including federal funds, to allow for the effective management and supervision by ESD staff. For example, GoSemi will lead and centralize efforts to implement the Micron project, develop and advance policies to attract the semiconductor industry and its supply chain, coordinate workforce development and community investments between local, state, federal, and private partners, lead efforts to create, attract, and retain the highly skilled workforce due to the uniqueness of the competencies and skill sets needed, and support cohesive development focused on smart growth initiatives. The operating budget includes expenses associated with the administration of economic development programs and projects on behalf of the state, but does not include any proposed programmatic state appropriations for specific programs that have been included in the Governor's proposed 25-26 executive budget or prior years' enacted budgets. Within the $166.9 million budget, $99 million represents personal services expenses, including salaries and fringe benefits, which will allow ESD to successfully develop, launch, manage, and deploy existing, new, and expanded programmatic portfolios with the staff required to do so, particularly within GoSemi, Connect All, SSBCI, workforce development, and areas that directly support those initiatives, the core business processes within ESD, such as IT, loans and grants, finance, legal, etc. The budget also includes approximately $61.7 million for non-personal services expenses, which include occupancy costs, consultants, IT enhancements and communication, insurance, office services, and staff professional development. Also included in our total budget, Chairman, is subsidiary operating support of $6.3 million, which includes the operating expenses of, for example, Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation of $1.4 million, Harlem Community Development Corporation of $3.9 million, Queens West of $0.1 million, and US Niagara of $0.9 million. These and other subsidiary operating and capital budgets have been and will be presented to the respective board members of those subsidiaries. Director approval is also being requested today for the corporation's 25-26 non-programmatic capital expense budget totaling approximately $11 million. This authorization includes continued support by IT moving our ESD applications and service to the cloud, a continuation of what we started to really enhance ESD's remote access and communication in a secure environment. And there are other IT initiatives, but not limited to artificial intelligence, etc. If any changes are required to the ESD budget after the adoption of the 25-26 state budget, we will come back to this board to discuss those changes for further approval. The details of the proposed 25-26 ESD operating budget, including the subsidiary information, operating support, and the annual non-programmatic capital expense budget were provided to you for review. Immediately preceding this meeting, the ESD Audit and Budget Committee reviewed the budget and recommends it for further approval by the ESD full board. In conclusion, Chair, sincere thanks to the ESD staff, because this has truly been a teaming and collaborative process, a very robust process is our budget. Sincere thanks to my controls team and the Senior Director of Budget. And it would be remiss if I didn't recognize my predecessor, Kathleen Mines, whose knowledge and experience has been a tremendous help to me throughout this process, Chair. So on that note, thank you all, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Good. Thank you, Anthony. As Anthony mentioned, Benson Hope, Michael, and I participated in the Audit and Finance Committee meeting right before this meeting, and we concurred with staff's recommendation, and we recommend it to the board to approve. So I will move it. Hilda, you second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. And I should have noted, we had no comments from the public or any written comments from the public on the budget. Anthony, thank you and your team.
Thank you, Chair.
And we'll continue. All right. I'm going to ask all staff, we got a lot of things to get through today, and after spending, close to an hour with the public presentation, I'm going to ask everybody to sort of abbreviate their comments and maybe just stick to highlights of their presentations, and because some board members have some travel commitments after this meeting and other commitments. So next up is Rebecca Pellegrini, VP Executive Director for Real Estate Asset Management, regarding the Moynihan Train Hall.
Thank you, Chairman Law. Good morning, directors. Today I'm presenting the Moynihan Station Civic and Land Use Improvement Project budget proposals for both operating and capital budgets in support of Moynihan Train Hall for the fiscal year spanning April 1st, 25 through March 31st, 2026. Authorization is being requested for an operating budget of $483,722 for personal and non-personal services, as well as a request for authorization of the Moynihan capital budget in the amount of $3,735,150. The capital budget supports expenses associated with ESD's assets and obligations as owner of the Moynihan Train Hall facility, and ESD's ongoing role with the James A. Farley condominium, the governing entity of the completed train hall. The capital budget also reflects maintenance costs for the extensive revenue-generating digital network, of which ESD retained control, as well as ongoing asset management obligations consistent with owning a facility of this size. The operating and capital budgets will be primarily funded by advertising revenue generated by the ESD-controlled digital network at Moynihan Train Hall, with a minor portion of the capital budget supported by developer funds. With that, we are requesting authorization for the operating and capital budgets, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rebecca. Does anybody have any questions for Rebecca on this budget item? Okay, we have no comments from the public. I will move it. Francine will second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you. Ben Verschuren, our Executive Director of NYS, has an item for us. Is he with us or on the line?
I'm on the line.
Ben, are you there?
Thank you and good morning. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you and good morning. The directors are requested to authorize the adoption of guidelines for the implementation and administration of the New York Global Entrepreneurs Program, which includes authorization to issue a request for applications. With the creation of this program through a $4 million investment in the fiscal year 24-25 budget, Governor Hochul is building on our commitment to attract top talent and grow the innovation economy in New York. The program will provide grants to support universities and affiliated not-for-profits to establish or expand global entrepreneurs and residence programs. These programs will provide valuable, relevant part-time work opportunities, as well as guidance, mentorship, and other support services, such as access to operating space, to immigrant founders while they establish and grow their new business ventures in New York. The program will also benefit university programming and students by creating opportunities to learn and benefit from the expertise of uniquely talented immigrant founders. In order to participate in the program, the grantees are expected to file a cap-exempt H-1B visa petition for each participating founder in their respective program. As sponsored employees, the founders will work for the grantees to share their experience and expertise with students and venture communities as defined and determined by the grantee. The H-1B visa will enable the founders to grow their new business in New York and provide benefits to university programming, including ESD-supported assets such as incubators and hotspots. Founders supported by the program are expected to maintain their business operations in New York for no fewer than 3 years following completion of the program. Participating founders are also expected to apply for concurrent visa through their new business while engaged in part-time work by the grantee as authorized under the cap-exempt H-1B visa. When approved, immigrant founders will transition to the new visa secured through their business. This funding is authorized for both program implementation and administration, and the program will be administered by NYSTAR. The guidelines set forth the criteria for determining eligibility of applicants, as well as provide various program requirements and details of the eligible uses of grant funding. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ben. We often approve our guidelines and give staff, parameters and to operate the programs in. So nothing new here. I will move it. John, you want to second it? We have no comments from the public on it. Everybody in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Kara Longworth, our regional director from Long Island.
Thank you, Chairman Law, and good morning, directors. This morning, I'm asking the directors to adopt the program guidelines and authorize the implementation of the Long Island Forward Housing Program. In round 13 of the Regional Economic Development Councils, as part of the strategic planning process, each region was directed to identify the biggest regional challenge and to develop a plan to address that challenge. 3 regions received $10 million to implement their plans. This program is a result of that competition. The Long Island Regional Economic Development Council identified the lack of housing as its regional challenge. This housing shortage impacts affordability and also results in a talent shortage, which impacts the regional economy. The strategic plan focused on one of the root causes of that housing shortage, which is namely the length of time for projects to be approved due to restrictive zoning, lengthy approval processes, community reluctance, and the lack of capacity in some municipalities to address these impediments. This lengthy approval process delays development, sometimes drives potential developers away from the region, discourages future developments, and leaves properties vacant and blighted that could be repurposed for housing. This program seeks to address the identified challenges by offering no-cost technical assistance to municipalities to address the pre-development activities on a site to make it ready for the development and/or help municipalities to identify potential sites suitable for multifamily housing and find a developer for that site. Through the program, successful municipal applicants will be offered a suite of technical assistance that will be tailored to a municipality and the identified site. ESD will contract directly with the technical assistance providers and oversee the services. We will prioritize projects that are transit-oriented, located in or near downtowns, that remove blight and adaptive reuse of vacant buildings. The applications will be accepted on a rolling basis until all funds are fully committed. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kara. Anybody have any comments, questions for Kara? Again, we're approving guidelines for her to operate the program in. We don't have any comments from the public on this, so I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carried. Thank you, Kara. Josh Breitbart, Senior VP, Connect All, is up next.
Thank you, Chair. The directors are requested to authorize the creation of a new subsidiary corporation, the Excelsior Broadband Network Corporation, substantially on the terms described in the submitted materials, and to authorize the taking of related actions. In her State of the State message, Governor Hochul committed to expand and extend broadband and cell service. Specifically, the governor stated her intention to launch the Excelsior Broadband Network, a new statewide public broadband network. As described in the submitted materials, the Excelsior Broadband Network Corporation will manage the Excelsior Broadband Network with the goal to facilitate equitable statewide broadband deployment, including fixed and mobile services and related infrastructure. I'm happy to take any questions.
Josh, I know we've approved like 4 or 5 different elements of the overall Connect All program. Is this the first subsidiary that we're approving?
It is, yes.
And why are we creating it now? Was it needed for any of the other 5, or is it for the 4, or is it needed for the most current one that you're implementing?
The purpose is to manage the implementation of the Excelsior Broadband Network that was that the governor established in the State of the State. There are related assets as part of previous arrangements that likely to be incorporated into this, but it's really for the purpose of the new initiative that the governor announced.
Great, I got it. Thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions for Josh? Hearing none, we have no comments from the public on this, so I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. And just an idea, Hope or Deb, maybe a future spotlight presentation. It would be good educational for the board members if we could just go over all the subsidiaries that we have at ESD and just give a little bit of a description, a little bit of
It'll be a longer meeting than this one.
a little bit of a description of each. Right. Or if there's that many, get us a list first, and we'll identify the ones we want to learn a little bit more about. Okay? Does that sound good, guys?
Yeah.
Worthwhile?
Yeah, Kevin, can I ask,
Sure.
the Excelsior Broadband Network, how far is, how extensive has it reached across the state?
Well, the goal is for it to reach all across the state, and the first phase of the project will be a partnership with the New York State Thruway Authority to pull new fiber the length of the thruway, and then to connect into existing public and regional networks, including some of the ones that were funded under the Municipal Infrastructure Program. So connecting those networks, which have presence throughout the state, will have significant reach by the time we can complete that phase of connecting those existing networks.
When does it get into like the rural parts of the state?
Well, notwithstanding the length of the thruway, many of the projects that we've already invested into through the Municipal Infrastructure Program are in rural areas, including in the North Country, Central New York, the Oswego, Cayuga, Cortland counties, Livingston County, and we expect to connect those projects to the thruway as through a later phase, as well as partnering with some of the existing regional networks, Development Authority of the North Country, Southern Tier Network, which also have presence throughout those rural areas.
I think maybe that there's not a plan for a statewide network that is owned by the state of New York or by the subsidiary. And there are occasions where we will have the opportunity to purchase some capacity or develop capacity to advance broadband. In this case, we're partnering with the Thruway, but there could be other opportunities, and this is being created to allow us to do that. There's not a plan for a state-owned network to cover the whole state. We are funding public and private partners for the broader broadband reach, but there's not this network, as it's called, is not a plan for the entire state to be on this system. We are funding lots of different partners. This is just another step in the process of reaching the entire network with the best service we can provide.
All right, thank you.
Francine, is that good?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. All right. So we had a motion, a second. Did we already vote, or do we need to vote? We're going to vote again. We have no comments from the public. There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're going to continue with the regional project section. So here is where I'm going to ask staff to try to hit the high points of their projects in the spirit of we got a lot to get done, and we're going to try to get the meeting done by 11:30. So who's up first? We're going to start with Karen Utz, our regional director in Western New York.
Thank you, Chairman Law. Good morning. The directors are requested to approve 2 grants to the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, $4 million from the Regional Economic and Community Assistance Program, and $426,000 from Round 13 of the Regional Council Capital Fund. The total project cost is $8,500,000. The funds will support various elements of the restoration of a 1,000-seat theater in the former Niagara Falls High School. The project will create 5 full-time equivalent positions. Happy to take any questions.
Great. Any questions for Karen on that? And for those of you listening, Karen just set the table.
Joshua did pretty good too.
No, he did. They all did. All right. So we have no comments from the public on this. So I will move it. Michael seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Karen, continue.
Thank you. The directors are requested to approve a $1 million grant to the Center for Kashmir from Round 12 of the Regional Council Capital Fund. The total project cost is expected to be not less than $5 million. The project includes the design and renovation of a historic building in a downtown location to become the home of the museum that will act as a placemaking hub centered on the Kashmir culture. The grantee is nearing the first expenditure threshold required for their initial disbursement. We are now recommending the directors authorize the release of funds in order to allow for disbursement during the halfway point of construction. Happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you. Any questions from the board? There's no comment from the public. I will move it. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Karen, your third project?
Thank you. The directors are requested to approve a general project plan to provide up to $5 million in funding from the Buffalo Regional Innovation Cluster to the not-for-profit Heart of the City Neighborhoods, Inc. for a new East Side Small Projects Building Fund that will provide grant assistance to property and business owners for the rehab of commercial and mixed-use buildings in East Buffalo. The new program represents a consolidation of 3 current and separately administered ESD grant programs, and it will streamline the program's administration to be more responsive to the level of need of both the buildings and the property owners. Happy to answer any questions.
Good. Any questions for Karen? No comment from the public. I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. We'll move over to the Finger Lakes with Laura Fox O'Sullivan.
Good morning. We're asking the directors to approve a capital grant of $1.5 million to Open Market ESCO LLC, the owners of Sibley Square in downtown Rochester, from the Regional Council Capital Fund Round 6 for a $10.5 million project. The developer for this project, Wynn Companies, renovated, rehabilitated, and reactivated approximately 90,000 square feet of offices and public space on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors of Sibley Square. Please note that the ESD grant number was incorrect in the materials under the financing sources. The correct ESD grant number is 132113. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Laura? All right, we don't have any comment from the public. So I will move this. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Let's move over to Central New York. Dan Kalinsky, our Regional Director for the Central Office.
Thank you, Chairman. Today, the directors are being asked to approve a Round 12 Regional Council Capital Fund grant of $2,685,246 to Owens Brockway Glass Container Incorporated to be used for a portion of the cost of machinery and equipment purchases at 7134 County House Road, Senate, New York, in Keywee County. The company successfully completed the replacement of the largest of the two glass melting furnaces at the facility and retained 230 existing jobs. The total cost for this project is $60 million, with 96% coming from company equity. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Dan? We have no comments from the public either, so I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Allison Madmoon, our Regional Director for the Mohawk Valley.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. The directors are being asked to approve a Round 12 Regional Council capital grant of up to $300,000 to be used for a portion of rehabilitation and construction for Mohawk Lift in Amsterdam, Montgomery County. The project was to purchase new equipment to expand their manufacturing capacity, including a steel cutting table, material handling equipment, and welding support equipment. As a result of this project, the company will retain 55 jobs and create 23 new jobs. The project is consistent with the MVRADC's strategy to grow investment and jobs in manufacturing in the Mohawk Valley, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Allison. Again, the materials were shared with us. We have no comments from the public. Do any board members have any questions on this one? No, none. So I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. All right, Mike Yevely, you have 4 items for us.
Yep. Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. First up, today I'm requesting the directors approve a $700,000 Round 7 Regional Council capital grant to Capital Roots Incorporated for a portion of the cost associated with the construction of a 10,000 square foot building and the installation of furniture, fixtures, and equipment to further expand the Urban Growth Center in the city of Troy that will extend the availability and access and distribution of locally grown foods. Today, the total project cost is $8,722,000. The project is complete and in operation. Capital Roots and the Urban Growth Center expansion has allowed them to support new business development and an incubator kitchen and create new sales for local farm partners at a retail store in one of the region's most distressed neighborhoods. And specifically, we've seen 36 businesses become members of the incubator kitchen. 6 businesses have done pop-up markets since it started. 4 businesses have done tastings, and 9 businesses are selling their products inside the actual food market. Happy to answer any questions.
Good. Any questions from Michael Endelman? All right. No comments from the public. I will move it. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Continue, Michael.
Thank you. Literally moving 2 blocks down the street on River Street in Troy. Today, I'll be requesting the directors approve a $3 million URI and a $3.7 million CFA capital grant to First Columbia LLC for a portion of the costs associated with the construction and renovation at 547, 549, and 558 River Street in Troy, Rensselaer County. First Columbia has been undertaking a transformative project to develop a total of 60,000 square feet of commercial space, including a grocery store, fitness gym, daycare, healthcare facility, and other retail and community service spaces, as well as 72 mixed-income unit housing units in North Central Troy. Total project cost exceeds $65 million. They have threshold payments, and they are approaching completing the first phase, which is why we're here today, which is the completion of 547 and 558 River Street. It includes the bargain grocery store. It includes the daycare facility, the rock climbing gym, pharmacy facility, and as well as following up on the apartments on the upper floor. And then the third project is a ground-up 150-unit senior housing project, which is when we will be coming back for this next disbursement.
Great. Sounds like a really neat project.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any comments? Questions? We don't have any comments from the public on this. So I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Continue.
Thank you. Today I'll be requesting the directors approve a CRDC URI grant of $1,180,000 to CEG of the Capital Region to implement the CEG Industry Attraction and Growth Plan, specifically the portion of creating a new system to deliver direct assistance to startups through resource navigation and access to funding. Grant funds were awarded to be used a portion of the cost of working capital for a $1.5 million program. That is a 3-year pilot program. The reason for our involvement really is it's furthering our, you heard from Kara, the winner of the challenge question. We did not, so we're looking to use our URI funds to move some of our initiatives that were part of that challenge initiative, and this was one of the highest ones as we had to avoid in our startup infrastructure, entrepreneurial infrastructure in the region, and this is really adding, it's really creating the system here. So I just would like to note, to date, since the grant has been awarded, they have secured private match of $1.6 million, so that's not represented in that budget. And they have begun resource gathering and mapping throughout the region. And 40 companies have applied to the program, and 12 have already been matched to mentors. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? None. No comments from the public. I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Last one, Michael.
Okay, this is, I'll be requesting the board approve a $355,000 Round 11 Regional Council capital grant to the Thomas Cole Historic House for a portion of the cost with the construction, renovation, and site improvements to the Thomas Cole House National Historic Site located in Catskill, New York, and Greene County. The signature project was the construction of a new Cole Center building to accommodate admissions, growth, and enhance the visitor's experience, with a total project cost across the site of just over $1.7 million. Thomas Cole has made the investment. The project's complete. It's fantastic. I've been down there. They've been able to reprogram the other buildings. They have a brand new visitor center with modern facilities, which blends really nicely into this historic site.
Great. Sounds cool. All right. Any questions? We have none from the public either, so I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Michael, you are done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, let's move over to the southern tier, and we'll call on Omar. And this is an item that Benson will be recusing himself from.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning. The directors are requested to approve an $18 million capital grant for Spark JC LLC from the Upstate Revitalization Initiative Round 1. The company has entered the final phase of a 3-phase process which has transformed the aged, outdated mall into Oakdale Commons. The site is located on a well-traveled, highly visible corridor through Broome County. The first 2 completed phases include major retail establishments, Guthrie Lord's Health and Fitness Center, and several Broome County government offices. The third and final phase will include renovations of an existing structure to create 85,000 square foot orthopedic medical campus and a 20,000 square foot child care center that will accommodate up to 208 child care slots. The project will also include newly constructed 125-unit workforce housing complex for individuals and families. This will complete the concept of a work, live, play destination at Oakdale Commons. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Yeah, Omar, what's the total cost of the project?
Total project cost is $91,662,500.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have any comments or questions? We have no comment from the public on this, so I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. And I've just come up with another idea for another spotlight presentation in the future. For the URIs, you know, there's like 3 or 4 of them. We should have a summary of all the cool projects that were funded out of the URI, you know, for the various upstate regions. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Good. Very good. Let's move over to the Mid-Hudson region. Linda Malavi, our regional director there.
Good morning, Chairman Law, Commissioner Knight, and directors. The directors are requested to approve a $3.7 million Regional Council capital grant for the Regional Food Bank of Northeastern New York's recently built project located in the town of Montgomery in Orange County. Food Bank has invested $26,988,870 to construct a new 50,000 square foot modern warehouse, distribution, and office center. This project has retained 20 employees and has hired an additional 30 employees. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Linda? None? No comments from the public. I will move it. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None? The motion carries. Thank you. All right, now
Thank you.
we're going to go to the Restore New York Communities, and we have Simone, and she has 5 grants that she's going to briefly share with us, and we'll take one vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to everyone. We're seeking director's approval for a round A $800,000 grant to the village of Tupper Lake in the North Country region. The village will oversee the rehabilitation of 2 properties located at 185 Park Street and 179 Park Street. 9 market rate apartment units and 1 rehabilitated single-family home will be created as a result of the project. The developer and beneficiary Northern Forest Center will contribute approximately $3.2 million in equity to the $3.9 million project, and renovations are expected to begin in March 2025. For the second item, we're requesting director's approval of a round A $2 million grant to the village of Bath in Southern Tier region. The village will oversee the renovation of the vacant historic Dana Lyon School. Built in 1923, the building will be converted into a mixed-use property called Dana Lyon Apartments with 49 affordable housing units, a center for the arts, and community event space. The project will be complete in June 2026 at a total cost of $30 million, with the village ensuring contribution of $978,000 approximately in equity by the developer. For the third item, the directors are being requested to authorize a $2 million round 7 grant to the city of Rochester for renovation of the historic Gannett Building, a former newspaper headquarters that will increase housing in accordance with Rochester's 15-year comprehensive plan. The Gannett Building, built in 1927, will be converted into 94 residential units, 19 of which will be affordable housing and 75 market rate. The development will also include 74,000 square feet of commercial space, and the city will ensure contribution via the developer of $5.8 million in equity to the $40 million total project cost. The project was complete in December 2024. For the fourth item, we're asking the directors to authorize a round 7 grant of $500,000 to the village of Menons in the Capital Region to rehabilitate the vacant 67-year-old 43,000 square foot Mid-City Plaza, a former Woolworths. In October 2024, the village completed the project, creating 32,000 square feet of newly renovated commercial space. Total project costs were approximately $1.4 million, with the developer contributing $299,000 in equity. Finally, the directors are being asked to approve a round 4 grant of up to $500,000 to the city of North Tonawanda to be used for a portion of construction, renovation, and rehabilitation to 2 vacant properties, 110 Sweeney and 211 Main Street in downtown North Tonawanda. The building at 110 Sweeney Street included demolition and site cleanup, and the property at 211 Main Street was completely converted in October 2024 to 62,000 square feet of office space. Project costs totaled approximately $10 million for both properties, with the developers contributing a total of $1.3 million in equity. I can take any questions.
You have success.
Anybody have any questions for Simone on these restore grants? Hearing none, we have no comments. Was that a comment? No. Just a cough? So we have no comments from the public. So I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. And Simone, because you did such a good job on those, you can.
Thank you. This is the at the direction of grants, which originates from the governor of the New York State Assembly or Senate. ESD is named to administer the funding and does not select recipients of funding. The item I have is for approval, $25 million appropriation from fiscal year 2022-23 and a $15 million appropriation from fiscal year 2024-25 for a total of $40 million in funding to Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory. The 2 appropriations were made at the direction of the Executive Chamber. The grant will be applied to construction of a new 30,000 square foot research building dedicated to the Artificial Intelligence Quantitative Biology Initiative, which will fortify New York State's status as a world leader in neuroscience and artificial intelligence. As an additional part of the campus transformation, Cold Spring is also constructing a 33,000 square foot pancreatic cancer center of excellence Center of Excellence. The center will be dedicated to researching early identification of pancreatic cancer, as well as various strategies to treat this notoriously difficult illness. Project costs are expected to total $68 million, with the building estimated for completion in February 2027. And I can take any questions.
Thank you, Simone. Does anybody have any questions? We don't have any comments from the public on this either, so I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Simone. Let's move over to the Office of Strategic Workforce Development, Christina Lopez. We have 3 different items, and we got to take 3 separate votes. So, Christina, you're up.
Thank you. The directors are being requested to approve $8,513,819 in funding for the first phase of work related to the Central New York on-ramp project. Funding for this project is being supported through the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Pay for Performance Operating and Regional Council Capital Fund, Capital Working Grants. In 2024, Center State CEO was selected to oversee the flagship on-ramp facility in Syracuse. The first phase of the project will support Center State in selecting a permanent location for the future Syracuse on-ramp hub facility, and will also initiate early engineering and design and stabilization for the property. Center State will formally establish a non-for-profit organization to operate the facility and integrate and scale industry-endorsed on-ramp training that aligns and advances the 2025 Future Ready Workforce Innovation Consortium Roadmap. The grant will also allow Center State to begin program implementation and training for 150 to 200 participants in construction and manufacturing-based training programs. Wraparound support services will be assessed through success coaches who will work to identify individual needs and make referrals to the Department of Social Services and the Healthy Alliance of Central New York. Wraparound supports will include childcare, transportation, food, and housing. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for Center State CEO to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions? No comments from the public, so I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Christina, continue.
Okay. The directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Workforce Capital Grant to Questar 3 BOCES in the amount of $1,645,985. This funding will allow Questar 3 BOCES the opportunity to expand its high-demand welding metal fabrication program to a new facility, addressing district-wide requests for additional welding training programs, and to meet growing regional industry. This grant will also support the expansion of heavy equipment training for Gibson Tech career and technical education students, and will provide additional classes through adult ed currently provided at the same site. Questar BOCES 3 will also continue to work with local workforce development providers and private sector consultants to develop and enhance their career and technical education center. The center will provide individualized career planning and job placement support to current students and alumni, and center personnel will work in coordination with the Rensselaer County One-Stop Center to provide wraparound services. We're recommending that the board authorize a release of funds for Questar 3 BOCES to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? None. No comments from the public. I will move it. Benson seconds. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Last item, please.
The directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Pay for Performance Program Operating Grant to Rockland Community College in the amount of $933,412. This grant will allow Rockland Community College This grant will allow Rockland Community College to develop and implement a new industrial machinery maintenance mechanics pathway program. This 2-year project will train 180 participants in various courses, including certified manufacturing associate, industrial machinery mechanic, and certified production technician. The courses last 8 to 12 weeks and provide credentialed training while meeting the hiring needs of local manufacturing partners. The program will be developed under Rockland Community College's Division of Economic Mobility and Workforce Innovation. Support services for this program will include a student success advisor for trainees who will provide holistic support services, including legal aid, mentoring, personalized case management, coaching, transportation assistance, childcare, housing services, and mental health supports. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for Rockland Community College to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? None? No comments from the public? I will move it. John Wayne seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Next up, we have New York Ventures. We've got 4 items. We need 4 separate votes. And I'll call on Jennifer Teagan. And Benson will be recusing from this item, number D, the 4th one. Got it. So the first 3. Jennifer, you're up.
Great, thank you. Good morning, directors, and I'll be presenting all 4 items this morning. Today, first up is we're asking the directors to approve the authorization of a grant to Launch New York for up to $1 million to provide technical assistance to businesses throughout New York State through the State Small Business Credit Initiative Technical Assistance Grant Program. The SSBCI TA grant program provides funding for eligible technical assistance providers to offer legal, accounting, and financial advisory assistance to eligible very small businesses by helping them navigate ESD's SSBCI equity programs. Launch is a designated community development financial institution which identifies and provides high growth, high impact startup businesses throughout New York State support and mentoring services, as well as with equity investment with the goal of catalyzing entrepreneurial activity. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about that.
Anybody have any questions for Jennifer on this item? All right. Hearing none, we have no comments from the public. I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Jennifer, continue.
Great. And with the preamble that I'm going to now present 3 requests for authorization of equity investments from the New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund in 3 different companies. Please note that for each of these companies, the Innovation Venture Capital Fund, New York Venture staff, and an external investment advisory committee evaluated each of these companies' business plans and growth prospects, as well as the terms of each investment. And as a result of those analyses, the staff and the investment committee agree that the market opportunity and growth potential offered by these companies warrants an investment by ESD and recommend each of these investments for approval. The first one is Dimensional Energy. Today, we're asking for approval for an investment of up to $750,000 in Dimensional Energy, Inc. ESD has previously provided $2,250,000 of funding to Dimensional Energy in prior rounds of funding. This is a company that was founded in Ithaca, New York. The carbon capture and utilization company. It uses patented proprietary reactor and catalyst technology to commercialize the process, converting carbon dioxide into usable products and other revenue opportunities, including sustainable aviation fuel, paraffin waxes, etc. The company has 49 employees, with 16 of them being in New York State, and it was spun out of the Erickson Research Lab at Cornell University. We're requesting an investment of $750,000 into a round of up to $7.5 million, and proceeds from the financing will be used for working capital operations and business development. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Jennifer, for this and for the others on the investments, do you or somebody on your team sit in with the outside advisors on those committees and listening to their input and recommendations?
Yes, we meet with them once a month, the full team,
Good.
including me.
Great, thank you. All right, anybody else have any questions on this one? All right, I will move it. Benson seconds it. No comments from the public. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Next item.
Today, we are asking approval for an investment of up to $1.5 million in Exogen Bio. The Innovation Venture Capital Fund, or ESD, has not previously invested in this company. Exogen Bio is a biotech company headquartered in New York City that's pioneering next-generation gene therapy for liver and kidney disease. The gene therapies have shown great results for other diseases such as in spinal muscular atrophy, retinal disorders, and hemophilia. Exogen is using its technology to develop new gene therapies for serious liver and kidney diseases that currently have limited to no treatment options. The staff is requesting investment of $1.5 million into their seed round, and proceeds from the financing will be used to develop the company's discovery and clinical product pipeline. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on this? None. No comments from the public. I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Last item.
Great. Fourth item, Mindset. We're asking the directors for approval of an investment of up to $1 million in Mindset Series A extension round of funding. We have made no previous commitments in this company. Mindset is an AI-powered platform that streamlines the application process for Social Security benefits. It combines a dedicated team of case managers, attorneys, and intake specialists with AI-powered tools to streamline the data collection and automate communication, which ensures accurate, efficient case management. This tech-enabled approach improves staff efficiency and enhances the applicant experience and drives higher success rate for the applicants. The company is based in New York City, and it's led by a diverse team that has already helped thousands of people to successfully access disability benefits. Proceeds from this financing round will be used for working capital. And again, we're requesting approval for an investment of up to $1 million into this company. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Jennifer on this? No? No comments from the public, so I will move it. Hope seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Okay. Next item is Kingsborough Psychiatric Center Mixed-Use Project. We've seen some of this before, too. Who's handling it?
It's me, Ram Kadri.
Oh, hi, Ram. How are you today?
Good. Good morning, Chair Law, Commissioner Knight, and directors. The directors are requested to accept and approve the final environmental impact statement, or FEIS, for the Kingsborough Psychiatric Center Mixed-Use Project as complete with respect to its scope, content, and adequacy, and to authorize its publication, filing, and circulation in accordance with applicable law. The proposed project is part of New York's Vital Brooklyn initiative and involves the redevelopment of an approximately 7.2-acre portion of the Kingsborough Psychiatric Center located in the East Flatbush section of Brooklyn. ESD issued a request for proposals in August 2020, seeking proposals for the redevelopment of the project site, and after reviewing all responses to the RFP, Sparrow Square Partners LLC was conditionally designated. The project would create over 1 million square feet of affordable residential space with additional space for community facility uses, parking, a grocery store, and over 2 acres of publicly accessible open space. For some background, on October 19, 2023, the directors authorized the adoption of a proposed general project plan, or GPP, accepted as complete the draft environmental impact statement, or DEIS, and authorized the holding of a public hearing on the GPP and on the DEIS under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SECRA. Pursuant to these authorizations, the DEIS was appropriately filed and publicly distributed, and a public hearing was held on November 30, 2023, with written comments accepted until January 8, 2024. We received comments on the DEIS and the GPP, which are summarized and responded to in Chapter 27 of the FEIS provided with the materials. The FEIS has been finalized in conformity with SECRA and its implementing regulations. The FEIS describes the project and its goals, assesses probable impacts of the project, identifies practical measures to mitigate significant adverse impacts, evaluates reasonable alternatives, and responds to public comments. SECRA requires ESD in its capacity as lead agency for the project's environmental review to file and publicly distribute the FEIS and to afford the public an opportunity of not less than 10 days to consider the document before issuing a written finding statement and making a determination as to whether to approve the project. In approving the FEIS, the directors are not being asked at this time to approve the proposed project, but are being asked to determine that the FEIS is complete, adequately assesses the environmental impacts of the project, and otherwise meets the requirements of SECRA and is in proper form for distribution to the public. It is anticipated that at the next directors' meeting, the public comments we received on the GPP and the responses will be presented, and the directors will be requested to adopt SECRA findings for the project, affirm the general project plan, affirm UDC Act findings for the project, and authorize all related actions necessary to effectuate the project. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Ira. Is this the first time you're presenting to the board?
I am.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
How long have you been with us?
It's going to be 5 years.
Great. But
Yeah.
first time before the board. I didn't, I didn't recall seeing you before. Great job. Thank you. The next time you present, I'll give you more time. And so, but I do have one question for you.
Sure.
What's the projected AMI for the tenants? Oh, this is not ownership. Is this ownership or is this rental? Or is it mixed? It's both.
This is a combination.
Okay.
So it's about 9% of the units will be home ownership, but the remaining is a combination of supportive housing. We are rebuilding the shelters on the site, 364 shelters on the site, and it's a combination of supportive senior housing.
So the AMI is probably
50% to 80%.
It's 50%.
Yeah.
See, we do both. See, again, not every project solves every issue. You know, some, or solves every housing challenge. Some projects address a segment, and other projects address another segment. All are important, but we shouldn't preclude one because it doesn't solve the world's problems. So, thank you for that. Does anybody have any other questions for Ira? Hearing none, there's no comments from the public. So I will move it. John, you second it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. And now we have Doug Janice for the administrative action items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you get 10 done in 3 minutes? Don't worry.
I'll go as quick as I
Do your best, Doug. I like finishing.
will do. Absolutely. So, directors, as you know, I'm going to present these 10 items to you in a summary presentation. Afterwards, we'll take questions if you have any, and you'll do one vote. So, item 8A is relative to making statutory payments for the New York State Electric Generation Facility Cessation Mitigation Program. You're being asked to approve 2 payments. The first to Tompkins County in the amount of $69,093. The second to the town of Lansing in the amount of $19,332. And these payments offset reductions in tax revenue to the local entities due to the closure of the Cayuga operating company electric generating facility back in November of 2019. These disbursements will bring the total under the program up to $99.7 million of the $140 million authorized, leaving a balance of approximately 29% of the authorized funding. Item 8B is relative to adopting the guidelines for the use, awarding, monitoring, and reporting of procurement contracts, what we commonly call our procurement guidelines. So you are required every year by the Public Authorities Law to readopt these guidelines, either as they were or as revised. For the coming year, we've made a few changes related to updating the section numbering and formatting, making sure all the internet links work, clarifying a few things related to divisions of duties between originating teams and the procurement unit, and removing anything that's out of date or extraneous. So no major substantive changes. And obviously you've gotten a written set of these guidelines if you want to review them further.
Item 8C is relative to the readoption of the procurement disposition guidelines and the reappointment of the contracting officer for the coming year. Again, Public Authorities Accountability Act requires that you do this each year. The guidelines have not changed since last year. The contracting officer will not change either. So you are just readopting them in the exact same manner and format as last year. Item 8D is relative to authorization to purchase the corporate insurance policies for the coming year. So you're being asked to purchase all of the various corporate insurance policies for the coming year. They're required to protect board members, their employees, our assets, and our subsidiaries from financial losses. The preliminary estimate for this coming year is an amount not to exceed $2,056,130, which would represent an 8% increase from last year's premium. But as has been our practice in the past, staff will continue to negotiate with the insurance carriers right up until our renewal date to see if we can lower those numbers while maintaining our current level of coverage. Item 8E is relative to authorization to purchase insurance policies related to the Highline Moynihan Connector project. So this is a set of standalone policies that are required through an easement agreement with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. They include general liability, excess liability, and property insurance for the Highline Moynihan Connector. The preliminary estimate is estimated not to exceed $1,140,599.68, which would represent about a 10% increase from last year's premium. And as with the previous item, we'll continue to negotiate right up until the deadline to see if we can get that number lowered. Item 8F is relative to authorization for a no-cost time extension of an existing contract for bond counsel related to the Lincoln Correctional Facility redevelopment project. So the contract is going to stay at the same amount, $150,000, but because it's been extended beyond 1 year through December 31st of 2026, your approval of this particular contract is now required. Catton, which is the firm that's been utilized as bond counsel, has been working on this particular project since 2024 and provided valuable advice and counsel related to, amongst other things, the Prison Construction Act and correctional facility. Item 8G is relative to authorization to enter into a contract amendment with the firm Wilmer, Cutler, Pickering, Hale, and Dorr LLP for legal services related to the corporation's compliance with subpoenas. They were originally retained in 2023 and have handled various matters for the corporations over the last 2 years. The proposed amendment would increase the term for an additional 2 years for an amount not to exceed an additional $100,000, bringing the total value of the contract to $300,000. Item 8H is relative to authorization to enter into a contract amendment with the New York State Industries for the Disabled, Inc., or NYSID, for document scanning services. The proposed amendment would increase the cost of the contract by $500,000 for an aggregate contract amount of $1,662,500 and extend the term by 2 years. So the corporation originally engaged NYSID to assist with digitizing millions of pages when we moved offices last year in 2024. And now we're beginning to expand that digitization effort to the Albany and regional offices. So we're again going to need their assistance to complete those efforts. And so their scope will be basically document preparation, scanning, data entry, quality control, ensuring data imaging accuracy, and destruction of materials following the scanning. Item 8I is relative to authorization to amend a contract with James Lena Planning and Development, LLC, for business support services for the Broadway Market project in Buffalo, New York. Proposed amendment would increase the cost of the contract by $100,000 for a total amount not to exceed $685,835. Consultant was originally engaged in 2023 to assist in the operationalization of the business plan related to a rehabilitation and upgrade of the historic Broadway Market in Buffalo, New York. Proposed amendment is going to let the consultant continue to assist with that. Also, increasing capacity for engagement with the public and current and future vendors to improve the programming and the offerings at the market. And our final item, 8J, is relative to authorization to enter into a contract with Carasoft Technology Corporation to provide Google Workspace Enterprise Plus to ESD.
And the directors are being asked to authorize the corporation to enter into this contract. It will be a 3-year contract at a cost not to exceed $352,800. And Google Workspace provides productivity, collaboration, and security tools, including the Gemini artificial intelligence platform, cloud-based platforms that lets ESD engage in AI and other technology initiatives and seamlessly integrates with leading Google technology platforms. It's going to help enhance our productivity by incorporating this Gemini AI integration capability to manage our existing Google infrastructure. And with that, I will now turn it back to the chair, who will call for any questions you might have related to these items before calling for a vote. And we also have item-related staff on the line as well to take any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Good job. Yeah, so Benson, recusing yourself on D&E, but since we're only doing one vote, recuse yourself on the whole vote. Sound good? All right, so let the record reflect that. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Doug on any of these items? Hearing none. We have no comments from the public on any of these items, so I will move it. Hilda seconds it. And all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. That concludes our official business. Does any director have any other matters they'd like to raise at this time? Hearing none. So we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, so we really didn't start till 9:35. It's 11:35. We did 2 hours. I think we did good. So thanks for everybody participating, being polite to our guests. And we got through it. So thank you, staff, for doing what you did today. So I will move to adjourn. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. I wish everybody a happy Easter, happy Passover if you're celebrating. And there's no meeting in April. And the May meeting was scheduled for the 15th. I've asked for it to be pushed to May 22nd. So blame me, but my son is graduating on Thursday the 15th. So, since I'm the chair, I'm going to suggest we move it in. But it's still not confirmed, but should be. So just diary that. But no meeting in April. Have a great day, a great spring, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.